We are here, spring 1944. Now, 1 year specifically, I would like you to know that spring 1944 means like April or March, April, May, maybe even June. So because spring months are March, April, May. So March, April, May of 1944. Just remember, World War II is going to finish in 1945. We know that now. Obviously, they didn't know it back then that it's going to finish in a year. But what you need to know here is that it's right now at its peak. The war is at its peak. It's at its highest point. So we're going to start from here that things, although the war is at its highest point, look at what is going on here. There's splendid news. Like, you would think that there would be not splendid news or there would be terrible news, but there isn't. There's good news. And I think we have read this a little bit, but there was splendid news. There could be no longer any doubt. Germany would be defeated. It was only a matter of time, months, or weeks, perhaps. Okay, so time of months, weeks, or just days, in other words. The funny thing, now here's a funny thing. In a way, the writer is correct. In a way, he is correct that Germany would be defeated in a few months, which is true because we know 1945, that's when the war ends. But he is so far from the truth because right now his experience of the war and even the other people, like the other Jews' experience of the war is at an all-time high because, like I said, we are right smack in the middle or at the zenith, at the peak and the apex of the war. So there is some truth and then there's so much of falsehood in these lines. But as it is usually that there's a calm before a storm, right? The things are always looking really pretty before things get really bad. So that's what's happening. There are trees, they're in bloom, they're beautiful, there's life in nature also. It's a year like so many others with its spring, with its engagements, weddings, births, new life, deaths, all of that's happening. It's all lovely. And the people were saying the Red Army is advancing with giant strides. Hitler will not be able to harm us even if he wants to. So the Red Army I had discussed with you is the Russian army because if I just go and show it to you here, the Red Army is the army of, have a look, of Soviet Russia, right? Russian Soviet Union, although now it's called just plain, it's called Russian Soviet Union. So this is the Red Army. And see, look, they have an entire book on the Red Army and the Second World War. I would love to read this. I haven't read this, but like we would know exactly what they were up to. But right now it seems that at least to this child, Elie, the Red Army is doing really well and Hitler can't do anything. Yes, we even doubted his resolve to exterminate us. In fact, they are so excited and so hopeful and so sure that the Red Army is doing a great job. The Red Army is doing a great job and is going to save them. That they're like, even Hitler's not so bad. You know, that's where they've started to come to a realization, or that's how sure they are, or how hopeful they are. That they're like, no, people say Hitler's bad, he's not that bad. I don't know about you guys, but this same feeling I've had many times for like Donald Trump. Like lots of people say Donald Trump's really bad, and you know, he's like racist, and he's like this, and he's that, and he's a supremacist, and he's all these things, and yet I'm like, no, he's not that bad. I'm pretty sure he's not that bad. He's pretty harmless in my opinion. So that's how at least they feel that Hitler is not that bad. He cannot exterminate, he cannot actually truly mean to exterminate all of us. It's just not possible. Like annihilate an entire people, like finish an entire people, that's what he wants to do. He wants to kill the Jews. No, not possible. Wipe out a population dispersed throughout so many nations. Is that what he actually wants to do? That the Jews which are see, the Jews are not even in one place. They are in different places. So they are maybe there could be some Jews in Poland, then in Scotland, then in Ukraine, then in I don't know, Barcelona. And so in so many places,
They're scattered.
Exactly. They're
They're
scattered.
dispersed throughout the whole world in any country.
Exactly. So he's like, it's just not possible. It's just not making sense that he wants to go and kill all of them and target them and pick at them. Like if they were in one place, okay, we can understand. Maybe they want to destroy one country and put an X on that country and just get rid of them. But no. And so it's just not possible. Like so many millions of people he wants to get rid of. Nah. By what means? And like they're all thinking, okay, let's just entertain ourselves, okay, let's humor ourselves, that he actually does want to get rid of all of us, okay, all the Jews. By what means? How on earth will he do that? That's just like a physical impossibility. So we are being absurd. We are not realizing that Hitler doesn't actually want to kill us, because obviously we're in the 20th century. It's just not possible. So these are the kinds of comments that are floating around in the entire Sigith, at least, because right now we are in the viewpoint of this child and what he's hearing. And thus my elders concern themselves with all manner of other things. So now the people who maybe should have been a little concerned that look, Hitler is actually into capturing us and destroying us and he hates us and all that, all those people are doing something totally else. They're not in their right, they're not thinking along those lines anymore. In fact, they're doing other things like strategy, diplomacy, politics, Zionism, but not with their own fate. They're not interested in their own fate. Why? Because they know that they at least think that we're okay, we're good. When he's saying right now that they're talking about Zionism, so they're talking about what we as Jews should do. As like, should we call a holiday tomorrow? Their Jewish policies, like the Jew people, the political policies that they run, that is Zionism. So now at this point, what happens is even Moish the beadle had fallen silent. So not just is it that the Jews are not listening to him, but there seems to be such a euphoric feeling, or such like, oh my God, everything is so perfect sort of a feeling in the air, that he's also silent. So he's wary of talking, he's tired. He would drift through synagogue or through the streets hunched over, eyes cast down, avoiding people's gaze, not talking to anyone, not listening to anyone, not, indulging with anyone. In those days, so Moish, who was actually, just remember, really, really passionate about telling about his plight, is also silent. And it's important that he's silent because it's almost like he is defeated, and like now that he's defeated, we can only imagine that if Moish, the person who was undefeatable in a sense and who was the only one who was telling them the truth, is now silent, that means like something bad's going to happen. Like there's nobody to save them at this point. In those days, it was still possible to buy emigration certificates to Palestine. I had asked my father to sell everything, to liquidate everything, and to leave. Now see, he's a Jew, right? This Elie is a Jew. You could buy an emigration certificate and go to Palestine, and you can see they're still calling it Palestine. It's not Israel at this point. When this boy wrote this book, it was in his life, it was not Israel. It was still Palestine, and but it was a safe haven for Jews because Jews were getting really powerful within Palestine and starting to take over all the houses, all the streets, all the everything of the real Palestinians, of the Muslims, and they were treating them really badly. But at least from Eli's point of view, like Palestine is the best place to go to because it's actually, let's talk about like Dubai. Dubai has, like, in theory, it is a Muslim state and a Muslim city. But how far is it Muslim? Very, very little, I would say, because there's like all sorts of people in it: Christians, Jews, atheists, and all the other religions there are, right? But if you talk about Saudi Arabia, you wouldn't say that. You would say, no, it's just Muslim, 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 right? So Muslim, 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 Muslim. So like Palestine for Elie and for the Jews is like Saudi Arabia. It's like Jew, 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 Jew. This is the one place that the Jews can be safe and the Jews can be happy and like really perfect. So I asked my father to sell everything, to liquidate everything, and to leave and go to the safe place of Palestine because they're all Jews and they're gonna like help them there and there won't be any problem there. I'm too old, my son, he answered, too old to start a new life, too old to start from scratch in some distant land.
But
I
Miss, why
guess
did you want to go to Palestine?
does anyone have an answer? Does anyone
Maybe
know
it can be in the one of the previous paragraphs, maybe.
No, he wants to go because despite the fact that there is all this stuff going on, that okay, there's this positive vibe, at the end of the day, there is some factual information coming that look, things are not good for the Jews are not safe, or at least this is a war against the Jews. So he's just saying, right now we can buy an immigration certificate, we can go. Like, then we don't need to worry. It's a good idea, isn't it? Like for example, lots of Pakistanis, they want British passports, they want American passports. Why? Is there something going on in Pakistan? Well, no, but they want to. They want to. They think, why not? Because
They want a
like
fresh start.
they want a fresh start. Many times they also want that, they think that there are better opportunities there. Back in the day when I was your age, in those days there used to be a lot of bomb blasts in Pakistan. Lots of bomb blasts. Like almost every day there was a bomb blast going on. So at that point, especially, it's not like the bomb blast was coming in our house and bombing us, but God forbid. But the point was that people were not feeling that safe and that comfortable. So at that point, especially, I remember that they were going crazy after the green card, after just leaving, after going to the Bay. Yeah, so many went to the Bay, not even funny. Like almost everyone went to the Bay because the Bay was the easy one to go to. So many people went to UAE, and then so many people went to America. So why did they go? Well, because although the bomb was not in their house, but like, you don't want that kind of society. You don't want to talk about that. You want like a safe place. So that's exactly what it is. Now, but he's too old. And the funny part in this is that that's exactly what's going to happen. He is going to start a new life, the father, and he is going to start from scratch in some distant land, except it's going to be so much worse. But let's see what's happening. Budapest radio announced that the fascist party had seized power. The region Miklos Horthy was forced to ask the leader of the pro-Nazi Niala's party to form a new government, yet we still were not worried. So things have started to escalate back the way, like first, they thought the Russians were going to kill them and it was all going to be good. But now the fascist party has gotten into power. The fascist party is like almost the Nazi party, because fascism and Nazism is almost the same. Okay. So fascists are, let me tell you, specifically, fascism is in Russia. Now, remember, they were saying Russians are, the Red Army is moving forth and Hitler won't be able to do a thing because even if he wanted to, the Russians are going to kill them or whatever. And now, suddenly, the party or the idea, which is pretty much the same as Nazism. Nazism is the party and the idea in Germany. Fascism is pretty much that same idea, but it is in Russia. Okay? Like, for example, if we are, let's say, if we're into like suicide bombing and God knows all those horrible things, so maybe you might call yourself ISIS, you may call yourself Taliban, you may call yourself Al Qaeda. They're pretty much like the same thing, but they're of different localities and different locations. So now things are looking good, except that fascist party has gotten power in Russia, and they were expecting really good stuff from Russia, positive reaction from Russia. And then what happened? When the fascist party came into power, what are they saying? That let's make a pro-Nazi Niala's party to form the government. So in Russia now, the Nialas, which is the political party, who is fascist, and not just fascist, but also pro-Nazi, like they love the Nazis, they're going to become the government. So now you tell me, will the Russians be stopping the Nazis from anything if the Nialas come into power and they're the government? They, in fact, love the Nazis. The fascists anyway love the Nazis, and especially if a pro-Nazi party comes into power, then they too definitely love the Nazis. So will they be stopping Hitler from doing what he's doing? No way. And yet we were not worried. Of course, we had heard of the fascists, but it was all in the abstract. Like we didn't really know what it is. It didn't mean anything to us more than a change of ministry. Like we're like, so nobody's even bothering to see what on earth is fascism. Now, of course, we need to do this because I know this class is getting very okay so much. But fascism is all about dictatorship. Okay, firstly, you have to understand this. It is all about dictatorship. It's a political movement that exalts nation and often race above the individual. Now, for those of you who have done like Anthem with me, right? Anthem with me, you know that it was all about community and union and like togetherness and
Communalism.
communism, all about togetherness, and nobody should say I, and nobody should say it's all we, us, we, us, the people, what the people say, not like what I say or what you say. So this is fascism is almost like Nazism, like because it is all about the same thing that it says that look, the Russians are really great people and the people are important. We don't care what any one person says. We will also control you like anything. We're going to not give you anything. Also, like Animal Farm. So, those of you who've done Animal Farm with me know that, like Napoleon, the way he was, this is what fascism is all about. Like, make the others work. So, like, what's actually happening is rather that the Russians are going to help the Jews, it seems like the Russians are about to face a lot of pain themselves because the Russians are going to be run by the fascist parties. And the fascist parties are like Napoleon, who are like totally going to destroy their livelihood. Their income will make them work like anything and give them nothing in return. Like, that's what the fascist party is all about, pretty much. So, yet we were not worried. The next day brought really disquieting news. Okay, finally, there seems to be some news that goes into their brains and makes them feel a little bad. Okay, that German troops had penetrated Hungarian territory with the government's approval. So I guess this Sigeth, I just want to check this. Is this true? Is it placed in Romania? Okay, so if we are in Sighet, if we're in Romania, where's Hungary? So this will help you quite a lot. Right now, here's Sighet, okay? This is where this child is living. And right now they're saying from Germany, here's where Germany is. The Germans have gone into Czech Republic, have gone into Poland, have gone into Austria, have gone into Slovakia, and have entered Hungary. Okay, they've entered Hungary, which means that next up on the map seems to be Sighet, doesn't it? Because if they've reached all the way to Hungary, they're like one step away from Sighet. And the funniest part of the whole situation, or the worst part of the whole situation, is that they have entered Hungary with Hungary's permission. Like, it's not like they forced themselves into Hungary. It's like Hungary said, come into us, come into us. Like, we are allowing you. Like, there was no resistance. There was no like stopping the Germans from entering Hungary, which is even more freakish that what the hell is going on? Are they going to come here and will maybe our government also just let them in? Like, what's
So
going to
then,
happen?
shouldn't the people of Sikkim be worried?
Yeah, see, now look, finally people began to worry in earnest. Finally, this is when actually things go and hit the head. Okay, I think things are not that great. One of my friends, Moish Chem Berkowitz, returned from the capital for Passover and told us the Jews of Budapest live in an atmosphere of fear and terror. Anti Semitic acts take place every day in the streets, on the trains. The fascists attack Jewish stores, synagogues. The situation is becoming very serious. Now, let me show you. The Jews of Budapest are in fear. This is what he's saying. So, let's see where's Budapest. Budapest, as you know, is in
So,
Hungary.
Miss,
It's the capital
Miss,
of
why
Hungary.
did the Hungary let them in?
That's a really good question. I honestly will not be able to tell you. I really will not be able to tell you because I don't know that much about it, but about this exact situation. But like, I don't, my history is not that good in this. But I just think that perhaps Hungary has let them in for a couple of reasons. And just remember, here's Budapest, okay? Here is Budapest. Budapest is the capital of Hungary, which means that, you can go to the small villages. Like, even in Pakistan, you can go, and you must have heard this, in like really small areas of Pakistan, there's like honor killing going on, there's like all sorts of bad things going on, right? Killing, murder. But like, you don't expect that in Karachi, you don't expect that in Lahore, you don't expect that in Islamabad, you don't expect that in the big cities. You expect that, yeah, that person was beheaded. Oh yeah, that woman was killed. Oh, okay, that woman, yeah, the acid was thrown on her face. Yeah. In like in Sakhar, in like in Melsi, it was that's where it happened, or in Kotriwala, or whatever, in Kohat or whatever. I can't even come up with any names. That's literally where these things you hear of, not in the main cities, main places. And yet they're saying that that is exactly what is going on, that it is happening in these places. And in fact, they live in an atmosphere of fear and terror because anti-Semitic acts. Anti-Semitic, let me remind you, are anti-Jewish.
What are anti-Semitic?
Yeah,
Anti-Jewish.
like they hate the Jews, so they're going to do things that attack Jews, okay? That attack Jews. So anti-Semitic acts means acts against the Jews take place every day on the streets, on the trains.
Anti-Semitism was really common during the Elizabethan era, during the medieval times.
Yeah. And if you look at these places, like look, on the streets, in the trains, like matlab ye hai ki in common places, in the open, they're doing bad stuff to them. And then look, they're going and they're attacking them, not just in the streets where everyone is allowed to be and in the public, but also in like their places. Like, why are you going into their house and destroying them there? But that's exactly what they're doing. They're going and attacking the Jewish stores. They're attacking the synagogues. Synagogues are the place where the Jews worship. It's their mosque. The news spread through Sigith like wildfire. Soon, that was all people talked about, but not for long. Okay, so first people got really upset, except that optimism soon revived. They again became really optimistic and hopeful. The Germans can't come into Sigeth, they will stay in Budapest. In Budapest. For strategic reasons, for political reasons, they won't come here. Except that in less than 3 days, German army vehicles made their appearance on our streets. So this is how things are usually. You never accept doesn't hit you in the face. So even despite the fact that they started to freak out that OMG, they're right here, they're right here. But again, they fell into a false sense of security. They all became optimistic, except that 3 days later, here are the Jews right outside their streets. Okay, I want to show you this because it does say a map of Eli's journey, which seems like the perfect thing that we need to know about since we're talking about Eli's journey. So I think this is where it is. We've discussed this, I think, that in 1944, the German Gestapo and the Hungarian police forced Sigit's Jewish citizens into ghettos. Then they deport them by train, 80% to every cattle car. The Hungarian police expel. Okay, now, so remember, Muish goes into those cattle cars and all that. So they take him here to Colome, okay? That's what they're saying. The Hungarian police expel Muish the Beadle and the other foreign Jews from Sigit. They take them here, okay, and executes the Jews in the Galician forest near Colome. Okay, so they kill them here. Then in 1944, the Germans reach Budapest and now Kashu. Okay, so we're not here. But let's stop for today. See you. Bye bye.